Isn't it great when you start a new job or a new project, or maybe you started your own company and you are going up the escalator of life? Every new floor is exciting. But what happens when all of a sudden you realize your motivation and your energy are depleting? You're not quite sure what is going on. After graduate school, I landed my dream job as a career counselor in the Boston Public Schools. I loved everything about it. I had an opportunity to change the world. I dealt with students with many challenges and difficulties, and I told myself that first year I would retire from this job having made a difference in the world. I would put my backpack on and I would travel to schools by buses and subways all over Boston. It was amazing. But around year 3, I still loved my job, but I realized there was a lot of burnout in the schools. Teachers working so hard to make a difference with limited resources. You name it, I saw it. But around year 7, I became exhausted and frustrated. I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't make the impact I wanted. My motivation and my energy was depleting. How could this be happening to me? I'm resilient. I'm resilient. I'm resilient. I was going down the burnout escalator. How? Why? I didn't even realize that I didn't know what resilience was. One of the scientific definitions of resilience is elasticity, returning to your original shape after compression. I had lost the elasticity of my job and my career. My job had compressed me. Researchers Veninga and Spradley developed the 5 stages of job burnout. The first one is called the honeymoon. This is when we are highly motivated, we are using our creativity, but often what happens is even though we feel that dopamine spike, which is the happy hormone, which increases our motivation and our concentration, we work long hours. And if we don't have clear boundaries and we don't replenish our energy, we go down the burnout escalator to stage 2, which is the fuel shortage. That's where I was. There's still gas in the tank, but our career car is about to run out. The burnout signs become clear. We have fatigue, inefficiency at work, dissatisfaction, and sometimes we have a busy brain at night. And also emotional escape activities like eating or sleeping too much. We need to pause. We need to take a break, or we end up going down the escalator to chronic symptoms. This is where we feel fatigue and tired all the time. The emotions range from depression, cynicism, anger, and everything in between. We need to pause. We also feel shame, disconnection from friends, family, work colleagues. We need to take time for recovery, or we end up going down the burnout escalator to stage 4, crisis. This is where we feel the critical symptoms of burnout, emotional and physical symptoms. We need to take a pause and focus on recovery, or we end up going down to the final stage of burnout, which is hitting the wall. This is when we're running that marathon and we get to mile 20 and we can't go one step further. The emotional symptoms of burnout are embedded in our life. We're running out of energy, and we're running out of our control of our career. Working becomes impossible. But there is good news. We can reverse the burnout escalator. We can go from burnout to recharge to engagement. And just about focusing on our resiliency. Our resiliency can move us forward. So let's talk about what is career resilience and what is not. Career resilience is not about toughing it out and being addicted to urgency and burning the candle at both ends. What is resiliency? Resiliency is moving forward, having the energy to move forward through changes and challenges. It's about having a toolbox of positive energy. Every day you need to make deposits into your emotional resilience account. Over the past 30 years, I have studied stress, resilience, and burnout. And I've developed the Bonatti Resiliency Model, which are 5 actionable strategies that will improve your resilience and prevent burnout. They are well-being, self-awareness, brand, connection, and innovation. All of them are important, but I want to share with you the 3 that help prevent burnout for me. They are self-awareness, brand, and connection. The first resiliency booster I want to share is well-being, which is also known as little and big recharge. We need both every day to be resilient. A great little recharge is taking a pause breath. And that's when we fill our belly up with air, we relax our shoulders, and we inhale and we exhale. I'm going to have you try it with me right now. I'm going to have you ground your feet, relax your shoulders, let all the stress erase from your face. You're going to inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2, 1, 2, and exhale for 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Little recharge is also taking mini breaks during your workday. And it can be having a meditation practice, a gratitude practice, or even listening to your favorite music. Big recharge. Yes, it's exercise and taking those vacations, but it's also spending time in nature. And most importantly, knowing your bandwidth, knowing what to say yes to and what to say no to, so you have the energy you need in your career. My favorite big recharge has been the time with my dog, Maple. She has been the best exercise partner and office colleague. And Ohio State University research shared with us that just petting an animal, you don't even need to own one, produces the brain chemical oxytocin, which reduces cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So thank you, Maple, for my little and big recharge. Let's go to our second resiliency booster, which is brand. When we think about brand, we often think about famous companies, but your personal brand is different. Your personal brand is your strengths that you use in an authentic way in your career. It's like your thumbprint. It's like your why. Why do you get up in the morning? Personal brand is also about the impact you make or have in your career. When I was going down my burnout escalator, What I realized was it was helpful for me to make a list of all the things in my position that motivated me. And I call them my career satisfiers. Then I made a list of my dissatisfiers. And what I learned was I was using many of my strengths in my position in the schools, but not all of them. But what was most important was I wasn't making the impact that I needed to make. For me, personal brand is about making an impact. How about for you? Are you focusing on your personal brand and what's most important to you? The third booster, connection. I saved the best for last. Connection is crucial to prevent burnout. Connection is creating and nourishing trusting relationships. How do you bring out the best in others? I had many mentors, colleagues, and friends that took me under their wing when I made my career transition and started my own business. Connection kept me resilient as well as my business. The Harvard study of adult development found that close relationships with others is one of the most important predictors of career and life satisfaction. I've had a mentor, Barbara Scher, and her quote is, "Isolation is a dream killer." For all of us to pursue our career dreams, we need to make connection a priority. And connection isn't just how many social media accounts you have. It's about creating and nourishing trusting relationships. So when I think about career resilience, I realize as an adult, I learned about it as a very young girl. My father owned a family-run moving company, and I used to get to go with him on his Saturday moving jobs. Our first stop would be the New York bakery. And before we even got into the bakery, you could smell the baked goods, the cookies, the pastries. It was unbelievable. But once we got into the bakery, everyone knew my dad. "Hi, Richie, hi, Richie." And in front of us was this big glass case filled with pastries, cakes, cookies. But on top of it was this big giant box tied with a bow with the name Richie. And inside were warm, buttered rolls. And when we got to the moving job, my job was to hand out the rolls to his employees. You should have seen the smiles on their faces. Everyone loved my dad. And when I think about career resilience, I realize my dad was using all three of those boosters I just shared with you: the well-being, the brand, and the connection. He received so much joy from bringing those buttered rolls to his employees and being an incredible listener. That was his little and his big recharge. His brand was not just a mover of furniture. He was a mover of people. His brand focused on bringing the best of his employees. He always focused on his customers, and he had one of the best reputations in the moving industry. And connection. My dad did such a great job bringing out the best in others. He always focused on creating and nourishing relationships. So as I think about resilience and my dad and myself, I realize I have been on the up escalator ever since I focused on my career resilience. And as I think back to how I am my father's daughter, besides being an entrepreneur, every time I help someone reverse their burnout and enjoy their career again and make the best impact they can in their job, I am serving them my version of a beautiful, warm, buttered roll. Thank you, Dad. Thank you.